PremuimGods will take on NASA in that next round in a very, very important game. So it's worth watching. But of course, that is that one done and dusted. Any final thoughts before we throw to a break, T-Time, on that one?
I think we might just be switching over really fast because the IP is up for the WahWah game as well. So I don't even know if we will have time for a break. That's your call, Neo. I'll leave you on for that.
Let me. I can connect into the server. I'll see. See how many people are in. See how many people are ready though. Because
the game is started. It's like the first round is over.
Let's get the show on the road. Let's go straight into WahWah versus PremuimGods. If Prod is ready, I'm happy to get in. It is 1-0 to PremuimGods. They took that first round, and of course we're going to take the second too. So. All right. A really good start. No break needed.
Okay. See, great timing from the NASA guys. But WahWah, of course, a little bit of context to everyone at home. WahWah is currently the ranked #1 team from Pakistan. In Pakistan, they actually have one of the older brothers of the player Rocky, who we saw earlier on. That's okay playing in the server as well. And of course, up against the PremuimGods, they do have themselves a nice little ping advantage, but definitely not quite as experienced. They're more of a team that plays together in tournaments, but doesn't necessarily give their life to scrimming and whatnot. They're more a pug stack that comes together very, 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 very often. So they've got structure, but it's chemistry more than anything else that you've got to keep an eye out for.
Exactly. They're familiar with each other's play styles, like, while still not being a quote-unquote official team in that sense. Well, we're going to find ourselves one. Nice kill from him. That's the opener as well. Man advantage collected by PremuimGods, and I think it's now a sort of a case of what more they can do from this position.
They're just stalling things out. WahWah, they just want to let the PremuimGods get a bit more aggressive. And with how they're positioned on the premium side, honestly, you've got a 4-man line set down towards middle. And that says aggression is going to come your way, but it's just not punished in time. Mupy, too damn good. Wow. They're destroying them in the middle.
And now, of course, with Bono, he's all alone. AK in hand. And unfortunately, of course, for WahWah, they have got no long-term economy to work with after this. If he can't find at least some damage, which he does, Senpai will fall. It's not looking good for them heading into round number 4. Of course, they've got kind of 3k to work with over the board, roughly speaking. And you can probably say, just an eco here. Just go for, maybe upgrade a pistol, bit of utility, try and make something work off the back of that. Don't go for too much of an overzealous investment in terms of, trying to get Mac 10s out, Galils, or, shotguns in that sense. We saw a little bit at the end of that Poggers NASA game. Go for the slight small investment and, of course, buy in towards the 5th.
Looks like a fast play out towards A is the name of the game for them. They've got themselves the instant smokes out for... flashes as well. They've got the instant smokes out for the quick pop into A. Mark and Mini, however, have already moved past this, and they should be able to shut them down to whatever extent they can. Mark is going to keep on fighting out. Inzmutye, good for just the one. And this is where just a reminder to people who are wondering, okay, who the hell are these guys in PremuimGods? They're a couple of players who are in FPLC, FPL as well. I believe they're from Lebanon. Well, not all of them. I believe a couple of them are from Lebanon as well. So these guys are basically what you were getting from Poggers in terms of this is the European Pug Stars level of skill, but you're putting it in a real team. So that's what the deadliness comes out from the PremuimGods. I think I'm getting my names right, at least.
Yeah, I think you actually are spot on. I know for a fact, I know Moopy is one of those players I've seen for quite a while. He was playing, if I'm right in saying, in ESEA main this season. A couple of these names in PremuimGods have spot on. They've been playing in FBLC. They're pretty well versed in trying to traverse themselves internationally speaking. And I mean, starting to, of course, make a name for themselves in a regard. Of course, as things are for the time being, it's a 4-0 start, so you can really see that they are a well-drilled unit so far.
Oh, look at Mark. He could just rip them apart. There's no one to flash for WahWah either. So Mark is just being set up for success, and he is very much ready to capitalize. Even the confidence to swing right back over to the other side, not worried about a punish at all. Freaky gets one eventually, but that punish is too late because Senpai is coming in.
Senpai holding towards that default position. Okay as well, he's making his way over towards ramp, but with the bomb in hand, an AWP and a 1 versus 4. Probably safe to say that this one is a done affair unless he can do something miraculous. But that default player, even him alone, is going to be the tough one to clear. him holding on the fort is not even going to be a thought process. And swinging. There we go. Senpai, really easy, really calm, collected. All he had to do was play patience as a key factor, and it worked so well. 5-0. PremuimGods, and you can really start to see kind of the experience spilling into what is a really, really solid team from them. And just by how to look through them, you're spot on. You know, most of these guys from the likes of Lebanon, Beirut, one from Russia as well in that of Mupi, and pretty much all of them are playing either ESTA main or advanced. So they've got very, very decent level of CSGO under their belt, and most of them actually playing on the same team. I know in the advanced playing under NK Esports, and they're 3-0 currently, which is very, very good start into advanced.
Yeah. Advanced in EU is deceptively impressive, honestly.
They've taken out some decent sides. They got Bay up next, B8, and then got Onyx after that. So two big games going next. I mean, yeah, what I was saying is they're a very good team. If you don't recognize them, you will soon. Swinging it towards B. Emperor for good for one, but traded immediately. Mini and Mupi combined for one apiece. Mini makes it a double, and his pistol round has been decimated pretty comfortably. Bono, all alone, 1 versus 4. Ooh, okay, all right.
Old man got hands.
He does. How about shot?
Bono, of course, one of the older members of the local community as well. He's very affectionately referred to by everyone as Bono Pai, because he's like, I don't even know how old he is, but Pai is basically like big brother.
Okay.
So I don't even know. I'm not sure how old Bono is, because a lot of the community people are young anyway, but in my head, he's always like 40 because of that.
Right. There we go. Fair enough. I know, for just looking at some of the other teams as well, I know, so Emperor is currently playing in main, as I mentioned. He's playing with a French roster, so kind of showing that multilingual as well, and they're currently 4-0, so very actually decent roster in their own regard, and so far showing 6-0.
I mean, this is just really dominant from Premium so far. WahWah has been struggling for answers, to say the least. And it's very interesting how Premium have been going for this aggression. It's very much aggression in place, which is to say, hey, we're going to sit inside fading smokes. We're going to sit inside your utility and use it against you. We're not necessarily going to get aggressive ourselves. But now that you've thrown out the execute, we're going to pop flash back out and peek before you can actually make your way forward. And Freaky on the lurk will be given a chance to find one. Emperor is brought down, and they've got a boost up as well. In the meanwhile, do they expect a second player? No. Many thinking that Freaky must be completely solo, and Mupi only good for one initially, but he's able to turn around in time, and the Underpalace player is still alive. So Senpai and Mupi will combine forces and absolutely dismantle. But look like a pretty good call from WahWah, in all fairness.
It's tough to watch, T-Time. This one's tough to watch a little bit. I mean, PremuimGods don't even look phased. I mean, we kind of said in our previous game, and we were looking at kind of the likes of the Unschooled Workers, how that game looked pretty one-sided. This one seems to be even a notch above. That one was 16-5, and this one could blow that one out of the water with how well PremuimGods are playing, and how kind of unfazed they look. I mean, they really aren't being tested too much in the grand scheme of things. And we all as well see the individual step up for them. You know, you mentioned that previous round, that the synergy coming through. You know, Mupi's been fantastic individually speaking. We see moments of brilliance as well from Senpai and Emperor. I'm impressed, very impressed.
God, this is a big old fake trying to be pulled out. They've gone for the double archer smokes, and they've managed to pull out rotations. Senpai, however, is the anchor. He's gone nowhere. In the meanwhile, Inzmuchi has actually made his way over to short, and he could have cut off the connector player, but he's unable to get the timing. My Mark is just getting some insane sprays. In the meanwhile,
the information of the kill, though. Damage dealt with a flank here from OK. I think he should be all right to get a freebie onto Mupi, surely. Here's the util being thrown. Surely the swing off the back of it. But no, Mupi gonna find himself one. Emperor one more with the AWP. He's flipped hands now to a 2 versus 1. Nice shot from OK to make his second. Looking for the third as well. But a swing in from Emperor is just that cut above. And well, with just about enough time, he is going to be able to find that 8th on the board. 8 consecutive rounds. They guarantee a lead as well at the half. This is brilliant. Brilliant T-Time.
Some real good stuff coming out there, you're right. And this is where, for WahWah, they're running into not just a brick wall, but a brick wall full of spikes.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, because when you're running into brick wall, maybe you generate enough impact and you've got the firepower for it. But then these guys use your own utility and your own force against you, so you're impaling yourself.
Yeah, this is it's getting a little bit tough to watch. Is one of those things, but. For the time being, at the very least, we hope that WahWah can find an entry back into this, at least make it a little bit competitive. Over towards ramp, they are in fact out. Will they clear the default player? They now spotted him. Can they find the kill? They can. Lucia looking for one more. Will he get it? Now answer is no. The AWP is going to find him. What an Emperor! What is that shot on towards Bono? He looks for the third. The support comes through. The flash over. Is he going to find it? Of course he is. What a 3K from him.
What the hell was that shot? What? I didn't even see the scope.
That was insane.
This he's just ascending right now. These players are very much living up to their names, even if not to the spelling.
Wow, that second shot was. I honestly, I thought it was a no scope at first because of how quick it was.
Yeah, just the kill feed, but hey man, that's
no scope.
The off sometimes.
It was quick.
Yeah. Well, Mubi is trying to tap away with the M4, and he's got two players over in short while they try and fail the Voxic boost a couple of times. But now, a triple connector setup with a Molotov straight down. The problem with that flash is it was the second last one they had on WahWah, and now the Molotov is preventing them from actually scaling into the site. They're going to try and combine that with the Top Gun smoke and maybe just go for a dry peek, but no heads being offered up.
Oh, yeah, it's either.
Oh, no.
I've spotted him. Information gain. Heard the noise. Easy for Moopy to be able to find himself one. Senpai as well. One more. Moopy will double it down. Emperor's AWP, of course, continues to rain off Supreme. On towards the site. The last remaining player to 1-for-1 trade. Emperor makes it his second. 10-0. And we said this was going to be our... Well, it is our final game of the day. And I hate to say it, T-Sam. It's looking like a quickie.
It really is. It really is. God, it's not even like WahWah aren't trying different things and whatnot. Yeah. It's really just that they're getting styled on a little bit. I'll give credit to WahWah for a team that isn't necessarily as much of a strict team as maybe you'd expect. They're definitely coming up with a lot of different strats, but the impact of those strats is just not quite there.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's exactly that. The impact is being the real kind of troublesome factor. Mark, of course, can kickstart things pretty comfortably with that first kill was okay. And okay's been one of those players who's been finding consistent multi-frags, and with him out of the fray, you start to get concerned. Moopy will drop Molotov. He's inviting that pressure in towards window. Won't be giving it for the time being. Damage dealt on towards bullet too. It's slower, much slower as Mark makes it one more. Senpai will find one of his own too. Makes it a second. And that's that 11-0 more or less being locked in place.
Four ends. There's so many targets to shoot at, and unfortunately none of the capitalizations to be there. You gotta feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, you do. You do. I mean, this is It's a tough watch. It's a tough watch so far. It's really not looking too pretty for WahWah. Of course, that was a slightly mixed buy in what they're bringing to, the other likes of Mac 10s, etc. At least in towards round number 12, we see a much fuller buy. OK's got the AWP, which of course is a big, big positive for them. I think, in my eyes at least, I don't know if you'd agree that this one already does.
I believe your eyes. Yeah, I believe your eyes. I didn't say it. You did.
That's true.
Trade comes out of it there. Remember, everyone from the Pakistani community, if you're going to be upset at anyone, be upset at Neil, not me.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying, at 11-0, you do start to lean in favour of a team that maybe has 11 rounds. I'm not saying it's done so far. It's not impossible, it's just improbable, as I'll put it.
No, of course. I mean, you're absolutely right. And jokes aside, this might be their first round, though, so... Ooh. Maybe this is going to be the opportunity to try and bounce back from it. The problem is, of course, going to be that it's so late into the half that you can't reset the CT economy. But realistically, if you can get to maybe 3 rounds or 4 rounds at this point, you still definitely have a chance based on the pistol.
Oh, so Emperor's quick.
Emperor's very quick.
Concerning, but looking a little bit better here. It's that silver lining that we like to talk about. First round collected, finally. Took 12 rounds, we've got then on the list. And as you mentioned, you do hope that this starts to become, you know, a little bit of a, well, I don't know, momentum going forward, right? One of those, you know, scenario situations where hopefully we get a bit of momentum going in. And they can at least get a little bit of a strong finish in towards the sort of the end of this half, right? And then following that, potentially in towards that CT performance, they can again start the momentum going forward. We can only wait and hope. We'll have to see. 11-1 though, a 10-round deficit that they have to climb. It is still quite a serious climb though.
Have to wait to see. Emperor started off on short this time over. Flash is going in deep, keeping him fully blind, but the problem is actually overlaps with the cross of WahWah's own player, so neither one of these players are aware of the other's position. And Emperor just has the advantage because he has to wait for the smoke to finish up and back off regardless.
Senpai, holding aggressive, looking for some information, not being given too much for the time being. Still, of course, 5 versus 5. There's not been too much of a contact play, not been too much of an information play either. Much slower in terms of the tempo here from WahWah, and I think this is a little bit more of that controlled aggression.
Oh no, Emperor's missed his shot over here. This might be an opportunity for WahWah to continue on. The trade is there, well spaced out, and it's all down to Mini, and he's been downed instead. Bullet with the double entry moving into things in the rotations from PremuimGods are going to be a little bit late and very much dry on utility.
2 versus 3, bomb down. This one sets up. It's looking good for WahWah. Maybe not so much anymore. Senpai going to find himself Bullet. Looking for more to work with. The AK collected, but it's a nice shot from OK. And I think that more or less should confirm things. Wow, that's quick. That is a lightning fast headshot. The swing into a short. That gives away the ruse of Bono as well. He needs to be extremely cautious. Damage dealt and surely confirms the kill afterwards, and he does.
That shot from Senpai.
Ooh, quick.
I can tell you that's where sweat just starts pouring out of your last player alive. After you know you're in 2v1, all right, that's all good. You get one tapped on one of the players. Yeah, that's where things get trickier, much trickier. But fortunately, Bono is able to sort of hold the fort down. That's where the experience and the veterancy honestly comes into it. You could see the difference between how, for example, he's playing out that 1v1 compared to how someone like Chivix was playing out that earlier 1v1 we saw. Is that Bono's just cool, calm, collected, sticks his ground, doesn't move too much, and he's good.
And I guess, as we said, for WahWah, we hope to be the start of momentum. And it's looking like it is until those opening 2 kills go the way of PremuimGods. They're back in control, make it a third. Oh, and Emperor's looking for a third individually, but he won't be given it. Okay, we'll be in for the trade. Oh, holding it towards window. The rotation needs to be made over towards that B side, but it's 2 versus 4. They can just play for the numbers.
Okay, so the play coming up from Edward with the smoke down. It has to be Freaky making a play. Will be good for 1, but the Molotov of Mupi, which was already there, is too much to deal with. And OK's also been tagged in the meanwhile. Down to 28. Nothing to do here. Mark will finish him off. It is WahWah still locked on 2 rounds.
Our 10-round buffer once again comes into play here. Heading into the final round of the half for PremuimGods. Want to finish on a high note. Emperor's only got a deagle, it seems, in towards, I mean, concerning that wasn't all he got. I'm assuming he probably has a drop on the floor somewhere, a rifle of some sort. Yes, there we go. The M41 has to collect alongside him. You look towards WahWah. Unfortunately, with losing that prior round, that buy-in towards the final round of the half is very middling.
These flashes going out over here, and PremuimGods are very well aware of what's the call. They're just going to be shutting them down initially. None of these entries working out. Okay, finally getting 1 frag into things, but Senpai now comes in from behind just to shut things down. The 13th round secured.
13-2, brilliant. Once again, really good stuff from PremuimGods. This one, it already sort of seems done just because of how well PremuimGods are playing. And you'd probably, beg to differ when they're heading towards that second half that it will just continue in exactly the same fashion. Dominant performances, controlled aggression, multi-frags galore. For WahWah, I think we've seen the moments of brilliance, but it's such a long road to recovery. And mentally, it's very draining too.
Absolutely. I mean, the problem is for WahWah is that when you're being just dominated in these defensive duels on the CT side. It's much harder to say that on the T side, when PremuimGods are supposed to be the ones dictating the pace, that they will be able to do too much different. So we'll have to wait to see whether or not that can actually materialize. Of course, as we head into things, PremuimGods will be starting up with 5 pieces of Kevlar on their T side. That's an interesting buy. And we actually see the same on the CTs. So this is very much everyone has decided it is time for Danger Zone. We're going to brawl to the death.
I love it. I love it. Full Kevlar all around. They're just going for the fight. Damage Delton towards Freaky too. He's going to drop in towards that under position. He doesn't want to take that aggression. Okay, in towards Khan, tapping away, trying to stay alive. He's cautious from all angles as things aren't looking too good for him. Muche in towards that of a underpass. He'll be following up the flank. That's actually Mini for the first.
Oh, okay, it's just been shot down. The A-bomb site's been fully locked open. Inzmuche maybe has a chance of a hair, especially with Bono coming in from up above. Now, Bono's revealed his position with the drop down, and they will be looking to combine forces, hold hands up, connector potentially. Inzmuche is actually a little bit more concerned about the push from window, where, you know what, that's not really coming until he's already lost his man.
Shot as well, at the very least. Mark will fall. Looking to try and cause a couple more problems, but at range, Boopy can close things out. Brilliant start by PremuimGods, and with that 14 collected, a nice 4 bites coming towards this round number 17, the second round of the second half. I mean, I think already it does look done now. You know, for WahWah, a pistol round was a necessity there. It had to be found to kickstart momentum. And as we mentioned earlier, sort of kind of, you know, boost the morale a little bit. It's very, very tough, mentally speaking, to be able to traverse such a stark deficit of 12 rounds. Granted, they're on the much more favoured CT side, but of course, they don't really have the weaponry to support. And with a full buy in here, you know, lose this, and it more or less confirms things.
Presumably timeout called out by WahWah for them to figure out what exactly, if there is one. The strategy is to be able to try and squeak together this force buy. Of course, you guys can't see it, but PremuimGods have gone for 4 AKs, which means they've only got 2 smokes, a single flashbang, a Molotov, and a grenade, which is very little utility, of course. The chances are there for the Eagles to come through. At least there's that to keep in mind.
That's true. As you mentioned, that kind of the lacking utility from PremuimGods, I think it shows kind of their mentality, right? It's so aggressive. They really wanted to rely on their mechanical prowess, rely on their sort of aim, for example, to try and find all their success. And I don't think it's a bad plan. They know they're coming against not much of an investment from WahWah. They just need to be careful not to be too comfortable.
Oh, okay.
Here's it.
A little boost up as well to try and spot him out on the fadeaway. Speaking of the fadeaway, Mark is keeping an eye out on their smokes.
An advantage. Goes the way of the T side. I don't remain that much way for longest. OK's Deagle good for that first. Looking for another one. Be given a chance to. The scout rains off though. It's a brilliant shot. Damage as well. Delton towards Emperor. He needs to be cautious. Will net himself a kill, and I think that will confirm things. Bomb planted. But it does not matter either way. That 15th already found and collected. And that means a match point. As well, as we mentioned, this is still that single elim. Best of 1 format. This is do or die, and for WahWah, this is looking dire.
It's looking over. Absolutely. Yeah. Look, the problem is, again, we're just not seeing these shots being hit, even in these situations where you're innovating smoke and whatnot. If you can't get the kill, short, not quite the weapon you want. Okay, nice start to things. It would be a good place to start, maybe racking up some kills early in, especially with a scout and whatnot. Another comes through from Bono. So, you know, they've got this A site locked and loaded, but Mini is now getting in position to trade away the fake. Peek coming out from the scout is something Mini just reads into too effectively. And all in the meanwhile, Mupi's coming in from middle as well. So these T-side players are very much still getting ready to get busy, and Senpai shots are clean.
Yes, crisp. That's really crisp. Mini does fall, so it still remains at a 2 versus 2, but the CTs need to group up, play for the trade. Nice shot from Freaky, and the M4 Muche is going to be able to find himself that third. For WahWah, they're still alive in this story, but it's still a long road to recovery, as we've once mentioned. Better than nothing, though.
Better than nothing, that's for sure, especially because, of course, you know, one of the nice things for these players is, in case you didn't already have an HLTV page, this match is on HLTV, so you better had those stats anyway. It's actually very funny because a couple of Pakistani players just have 1 or 2 matches on HLTV, which is just their worst matches of their life. And they're always very regretful about those. So, you know,
they wanted the chance
always
to
something to
redeem
fight
themselves.
Hey, oh, you never know.
Never know. Yeah, you never know. Never know. This story isn't done so far. It's a buy over towards WahWah, to say the very least. I mean, for PremuimGods, your double deagle sets of 1 kilo and a double AK. It's very reliant on the likes of Moopy and Mini to really step up here and get a multi-frag.
Oh, Molotov's actually going to give away a bit of information as well. Freaky might be getting ready to jump in and peek, but the problem is CT utility is out. They've got 2 flashes. Nice bit of damage dealt to Mark as well in the meanwhile, but it gives up the position that he is holding, and that means there's now 2 players coming to connect to reinforce Freaky. Good for the triple, despite his position being revealed.
Still, in towards Shaw, that control game quite nicely. Emperor, last remaining alive, is looking like a flawless round, in fact, for WahWah. So even if this is this best of 1, the kind of the end of their story, make a bit of a statement that they're not going out without a fight at the very least. They're only down to 1 man. That Emperor does have the bomb in hand, but this still requires so much from him. I think it's safe to say we can't expect him to find too much here. In towards me, he's still just dancing around the angle, and it will be Bullet to drop him down. Flawless round for WahWah, up to a 4th for them. So this story still remains in play. And I guess, you know, a real positive on the top of that is that, you know, it's broken the economy of PremuimGods. They have to go for an eco in towards the next round. So it means that potentially, probably, there should be a 5th here for WahWah.
Funnily enough, this looks identical to the game we saw before this, with unskilled workers being in a very similar position, actually, at the end of the half, at the economic reset that they're able to dish out and everything as well. We'll have to wait to see whether or not, of course, that trend continues, but hey, now a quick rush down to underpass. Grenades are ready as well. Freaky's got some good damage, and okay, finishing off that. Hold the point because Freaky's getting aggressive, and he's going to have to pull out his USP. Ends up falling to the Glock. No big deal. That's a recoverable rifle.
It is. Well, now, of course, for PremuimGods, this is the round that we kind of have the questions about. That previous one, we mentioned it was going to be an ego. We mentioned it wasn't going to be too much of an investment, and it wasn't really. So that's what we did see. Now, though, 15-5. Looking identical, as you mentioned, of that previous game we were talking about, the one with unskilled workers. Questions, can WahWah do better than them? As PremuimGods have got a full by themselves. That quintuple AK-47 and a little bit of utility, not too much.
Did that molly just miss? And land. Okay, well, maybe it's an advanced bait, in all fairness. Because OK is able to catch out the players from Palace who are trying to aggress behind it, and now they should have an idea that there's another potential player up above. They didn't think about 2, and we'll have to wait and hold the point because right now Bullet and OK have held down the side. Bullet is playing beautifully, leaving Mini all alone. That under Palace position fully exploited to the max. Mini, all down to him.
Versus 2, bomb dropped as well, and really good angle, good kill as well. Mini will fall. WahWah keeping this story alive. Not quite done. A couple more chapters left in this book. As PremuimGods, what was a dominant performance up until this point. This is the first time, well, in the entirety of us tuning into this game, that they have ever even remotely looked tested, and they are really being tested.
They're buying. Down to 1,000. No, actually, they bought down on 2 players.
Interesting buy, to say the least.
Just looks like a potential mid-rush to A, with Connector being the focus. They've left Emperor behind to try and sell this fake, and look, at the very least, he'll make sure that... Oh, wow, they used 2 Molotovs. Wow, that's a lot of commitment. Look, at the very least, they're making sure that there shouldn't be multiple people in Connector by having that extra player there, but this investment should make it a little bit easier for WahWah to potentially get to a place where they can actually get to double digits.
It's definitely a kind of a room in a realm of possibility, just because of how PremuimGods are slightly slacking right now. Bono going to find Mini. That's the opening kill. Freaky, one of his own too with the AWP. And this hefty investment is just being picked apart. And that's the bomb drop too. This was done already. There's 2 remaining alive. Deagle and AK-47 made that just a Deagle. Once again, another flawless round. Looks like it's going to find its way for WahWah. And kind of from the depths, they are really turning this game into something. Up to 7.
They still do have enough money for a buyout on PremuimGods, so, you know, this isn't going to be too easy of a round for WahWah. But even so, it's weakened up. You've got 1 player on a Mac 10, 1 player with that utility. And unless PremuimGods have got themselves a nice little set strat, well, I have a very solid advantage in this round, even if it's not a freebie by any means.
Yeah, that's exactly that. I mean, so far, I gotta say, I wasn't initially, but now I'm really starting to get impressed with kind of how WahWah mentally have turned this one around. And just to mention on the other side, we of course have SNRG being played at the same time. They've started on towards Vertigo against JPB. It's a good start for them. They've picked up the pistol and the 4 spies of Hollow Suit. So 2-0 in favor of SNRG. And of course, the winner of that takes on Ooredoo Thunders with that very important game tomorrow.
Of course. Oh. Over in middle. Freaky. Molly Grenade, he got aggressive early in, and now with 3 players leading in towards the B side, the question is, will PremuimGods recognize it? We've got Bullet playing Sandwich, which makes it a slight variance in his positioning from how it was before, so PremuimGods might be caught off, and with the flashbangs that they have, just the 2 left, that might not be enough, but Inzmutje could be caught out. In the meanwhile, it's Freaky to fall. Mini inside the smoke, just waiting for the peak to come forward, and as he will spot out Inz, it's just an instant headshot as well. Bono trades once at the very least, but it's going to be Mini who keeps on fighting.
That's quick. That's really quick in towards that jungle position. But of course, it's brought back the levels number now. Mark and Emperor falling. Mupi just about getting the position. Mini will find one more, and I think, unfortunately, that might confirm things. Down to 1 man. Down to OK to deny, and he's in a precarious spot over towards the A side. Taking a couple of pop shots through the smoke. That bomb can free reign, head over towards B. Get planted down, a post barn setup. Doesn't even matter. Mupi gonna close things out. Laser